Okay, top of the hour. Here we go. I'll share my screen. Tony, just let me know that you can see that. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Cool. Okay, so again, I just always put it up here just so that everybody who's a JV partner knows the dates here. And that's how it's going to work. So we're ready to go. Good. Okay, so first, Tony, let's see what's happened since last we talked. So Tony is dealing with travel-related stuff. So give me the update.
Yeah, I actually, as we had talked last week about the testimonials and that sort of thing, so I've gathered all of that. Obviously, we want to get them on video, as you were talking about, but yeah, there are over about 200 or so testimonials from three different seminars I've done over the past couple of years in
Good.
continuing education.
Good. So those are all in written form.
That's correct, and so I actually just handed them out at the end of the seminar, and so I just kind of used it as a comment sheet. But I'd also asked them, can I have their written testimonials so I can use it in future advertising? And a lot of them, I've noticed, don't really know how to do testimonials, so I think maybe I should have coached them a little bit better. But I just wanted to see what they would write, so it was really cool to have that. And also they signed it and put their occupation and where they're from, et cetera, et cetera.
That'd be great. And good thing if they allowed you to do it. Did you have a place there where they could say it's okay for you to use this that they signed?
Yeah, I said I give my permission to use my testimonial, and then I put a signature line, and then they sign it.
Cool. Well, to make it even more sort of authentic, it's always good if you can scan those in and actually have the actual physical forms on the site. Avish, how you doing, by the way?
Good. How you doing, Fred?
Good. Okay, so Tony is giving us a little bit of an update here. So what else have you done since last week?
Also, we were talking about the individual coaching points and group coaching point benefits. So I'm actually looking at that and, trying to kind of go through that. So I'm needing a little bit help in that a little bit more, Fred.
Okay.
So, yeah, so probably some benefits of what I would do for I guess, my future clients.
Right.
And so, again, I have some ideas. I have some bigger picture ideas, I have some specifics. It's just, for me, it's just I'm needing some help trying to kind of nail it down.
Well, let's ask Avish. Hey, Avish, if you were getting coached by someone on how to save a bunch of money on travel, one-on-one, what would you want him or her to give you?
Interesting question. I guess I want, from the coaching side, obviously I want whatever question I had answered. I guess on the deliverable side, I want a very concrete, step-by-step, here's exactly what you do, here's how you do it type
but more specific.
method. So it's not just, call these people and tell them this, but real specific. Like,
Yeah, well, more specifics. What would you want if somebody was telling you how to save money on travel? Give me some specifics.
What's that?
Give me some specifics. What would you want? You're going to pay someone a couple $100 a month to give you travel tips. What do you want them to give you? Give me specifics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'd want to know how to get upgraded to first class.
Okay.
Either on very cheap or for free without having to hope that my status gets me there.
Okay, what
I
else?
want to know how to save a lot of money on hotel rooms, either getting a better room for the same price or getting a much cheaper room than was listed.
Okay. Okay, what else?
Well, this may just be me, but I really need to spend some time figuring out what the hell I'm doing as far as insurance on rental cars. I feel I'm getting hosed on that. So I'll get that.
Right, yeah.
But I don't have the confidence to say no when they strong arm me, like, oh, well, it covers this. So,
Do you have a Platinum American Express or a Gold American Express card? Because that automatically covers it, and it also, Tony, I'm not sure if that's covered by the SPG Amex card too.
Yeah, it is definitely. It's just the actual coverages vary. So make sure that you read the fine print.
Yeah, I don't have any Amex right now. So
what else would you want if somebody was coaching you, Avish?
Let me see.
I'll think about it.
Any kind of travel, business or
repeat that. Sorry.
Business or personal vacation, any kind of travel.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, I want to know the secrets of getting because prices fluctuate so much. I don't know how to get the best deals. Because like Amanda and I go away pretty much once a year to a resort or something, and I feel like some years we're on there we get a great deal, and some years all the prices are super high. So is there anything other than just time of year? How do we get the best deals on that?
And again, just to remind anybody who's on the webinar or watching this after the fact, this webinar is set up for those people that I work with one-on-one in some kind of a relationship where we're splitting profits. So what I'm trying to do is to coach them on how to get things going, moving, and making the most amount of money. So in Tony's case, so just hold on a second, Avish. So in Tony's case, what we're trying to do is to set up the various tiers of money generation. One is sort of group, I will call it mass, then small group, and then individual. And so in your case, Tony, the mass would be as many as we can. The small group would probably be limited to under 20 people, and individual is obviously one-on-one. And so then this is all a question of, and in your case, Tony, I think that it's going to be kind of tough to. I think we'll be able to get a lot of people in here, and some people in here. This one here will be tougher to fill, the small group. So I think that there will be some people, and the question is, if you were going to coach me individually on how to save money on travel, I would have to be someone who travels a lot, someone who has a fair amount of disposable income, but is someone like me who really doesn't like to spend money on stuff that I don't have to. So I'm kind of your target client too, because I'm the kind of person that would be willing to pay for that, because even though money's coming in, I'm cheap. So there are people like me. And so then the question becomes, well, what would you have to offer me? And I think that would have a lot to, that would have to do a lot with more personalized service, setting things up for me, et cetera, et cetera. But this one, the mass thing, sort of everyone kind of like how everyone can save money. And then so each time you get together with those people, whether it's once a month or once every 2 weeks, you're going to give them tips that they're going to go, man, it's worth it for me to keep giving Tony, $25 or $30 every month. And if we can have, we can have 1,000 people on this webinar, Tony. So if we had 1,000 people paying you, $9.95 a month, that's plenty of revenue.
Oh yeah.
So then, okay, so what else is, since you got back, because it's been, a month and a half now or so, tell me what's been going on and what's keeping you from moving ahead that we can do.
Oh no, it's been crazy coming back up here for other things that I was away from the homestead for about 6 weeks, so I've had to get caught up on a lot of different things. So finally I've had the ability to now really kind of hunker down and really focus on this as giving this all my attention. So my apologies for that. So that's just how it is. But I also have been going through all of my travel stuff through my office. My office was as clean as yours. And so for me, it was like I had to go through a lot of my travel materials and stuff and organized it. So I actually finally accomplished that.
Excellent.
So I don't have a lot of clutter around me.
Excellent. Well, William DeWeese has joined us. Hey, Bill.
Hey, gang. How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Bill.
Good, Bill.
Good.
Yeah, good. Well, excellent. So what we're doing is I'm just going through with Tony, trying to figure out what kinds of things we can do here. So I have up on the screen, Avish sort of shared some things. Hey, Bill, if you were getting advice from someone on how to save money on travel, if you see this list here, what other items might you put on here? So how to get upgraded to first class for free or almost free, how to save money. What would you want to get from somebody who knew a lot about travel?
Schemes to get the best deals, resorts. I would be interested in like all-inclusive type packages.
Yeah.
In other words, it'd be fun not to have to piecemeal it all together.
Okay. And
But if I could find deals where it's packaged.
Got it. What else?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll think about it for a while there.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we should share, Bill is at kind of a different point on the opposite end of the spectrum of Tony. And Tony, one of the things I was trying to do with Bill is find a way for him to make a lot of money from his information marketing business without having it interrupt his, tremendously interrupt his other. And Bill, the one thing that I think that you may still want to consider is if you did a let's say once every 2 week thing that we could get, and I group these into three: the mass, the small group, and the individual one-on-one. If you could do a webinar, let me give you the numbers here. So imagine you could do 90 minutes, okay, 90-minute webinar every 2 weeks, and we would do this and have it an unlimited sign up. And so if this was, if we could get people to pay $99 a month, I think that you could get a boatload of people that would just sign up for that, and the hourly rate on that would be pretty amazing. So that's the kind of stuff that I was thinking that would take up very, very, very little time that would result in pretty good money.
Do you think, in a way, to help that, or do you think the YouTube channel works against us in any way? In other words, do you think it'd be good to tailor or kind of cut back on that?
No, I don't. Because
no, not at all. Okay.
I think the YouTube channel feeds it, because the YouTube channel is a strictly you giving them, you pouring out knowledge on them. They have no chance to ask questions on the YouTube channel.
Well, that's true. I just wrestle with that in my mind. I wonder if I'm giving away the candy store.
Not at all. I think that what happens is the movement from the YouTube channel, which, by the way, folks, Bill is now moved into the spot of being the, I guess it's at about, like when I saw your thing this morning, it's at about 6,000 people who are signed up for this YouTube channel on voiceover and voiceover related training, and that's more than in anyone else in that category. So, I mean, that's, he kind of owns that space. So the question is, by doing YouTube videos, which, are all really well received and all really good, is he hurting himself from doing something like this? And Avish, I mean, and Tony, maybe you guys can help me play devil's advocate, but I don't really see, I think that the YouTube channel is strictly you pontificating about ideas. But if I'm a new voiceover talent, I'm willing to give you $100 a month to get on there twice a month and get any and all of my questions answered, because you're not doing that for me on the YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah. No, I see your point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I just think that, and maybe Tony, Avish, you guys may want to chime in. So what we're trying to do is, Bill was feeling a little bit overwhelmed by trying to do his regular business, which is voiceovers, and the voiceover training business, because frankly, it was getting really, really time consuming to do both. And Avish and Tony, I'm sure you guys are saying to yourselves, well, let that be our biggest problem. But for Bill, that is a huge problem right now, because frankly, he was getting run ragged to have to do both. I mean, he was literally spending probably 80 hours a week on both of these things. That's probably
in the voiceover side of things. The career's still growing, so it's not like it's in a plateau. It continues to grow, so it just adds to the fire.
Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you about the. Have you gotten any results yet for the stuff that you were doing on the video side with Dave Hamilton? Any data?
No, the videos aren't up yet. My website just got up this past week, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, you might want to check that out.
The
videos,
one? You mean this one?
Videos will be up next.
I mean,
BillDeweese.com.
Oh, so Bill. Okay,
nice.
so let's add that. So, BillDeweese.com. Okay, so here it is.
This is the iPad with Retina display.
Okay, so this is the new voiceover site.
Yeah, so that just went up last week, and we're working on putting a compilation of video commercials that'll go up on there to finish that out. But that's it, and I've had a lot of good response so far. So we'll see. So that was job one. Now job two is getting these videos up. Next, so then hopefully that will drive traffic to this, which will, again, remains to be seen. That's the next big step, though.
And I was just thinking that in order to create individual tracks for voiceovers like each of these down here, there's certainly no problem with doing those in a traditional MP3 individual file also, by the way.
Sure, yeah, you could break it down as much as you want to.
Which is what I'm going to be doing from now on. When I start doing more and more of that. Okay, good. So So then you wanted to have the site up before you started creating those videos to drive traffic to it. Is that it?
Right, because this is where we want them to go. Right.
And so, this, by the way, this is a fairly, it's a fairly simple site.
Yeah, it's just what I wanted to do was reposition myself from it. My earlier site looked a little maybe younger and aggressive than what I am, and I know through experience I get more corporate type work.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make it look a little more, not traditional, but a little more of a corporate type of feel.
Now, these guys may differ, but give me your feedback, guys. I think that if this is your tagline, it's not big enough. The trusted voice of the world's most trusted brands, I think that should be bigger.
I was really trying to make it subtle.
Oh, were you?
But which is probably more the way I operate, and that you probably wouldn't be quite as subtle.
Well, I don't know if I don't. What do you guys think? I wouldn't make it huge, but I would make it a little bit bigger. Any thoughts, Avish?
Yeah, I think it definitely. By just my glancing at the site, I'd see your name, and I probably would just ignore the tagline altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the same size as Voice Talent, probably a little bit bigger.
That's where I would go.
I'll take that under advisement. I will give that some consideration.
Yeah, I think that Bill is trying not to be really Mr. Salesman in your face. I think that's your point, right?
Yeah, that was kind of where I was coming from on that.
Because you really, if people are coming to you, they're coming to you because they know you're good. You don't have to beat them over the head with it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, or I just didn't want, there are a number of very talented people out there. And I thought it was a pretty bold statement to make to begin with, so that's why I kind of undersold it in terms of the real estate that I gave it.
Got it. Yep. And so I can then go here and click under here, and yeah, there's different types of voiceover work. And if I click on any of these, are these clickable?
No, those are not clickable. That's just purely informational.
Well, if these are your industry niches here, I would like to see them here as well.
Yeah, and that's just going to take a little more time.
Yeah. That would make sense.
This is the iPad with
Right.
So that way, if you're saying these are your industry niches, also it'd be nice to have these links here be clickable. So I could see samples or examples of each of these.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just my feedback. Any other thoughts, you guys? Tony, Lavish?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that everybody wants to click on something on a homepage.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and not to go off on a whole other thing, and Fred, I don't know if you saw this in an earlier email, I just signed with a talent management company, ACM Talent in New York, and it's a 6-month deal where it's where they're consulting me over the next 6 months, as well as presenting opportunities. So we haven't dug into the website yet, so it'll be interesting to see what their feedback is as well, because this is their forte.
Oh, so now they apparently, what credentials do they have that they are worth spending money with?
When you get a chance, go to acmtalent.com.
Yeah,
they represent some of the top talent in the country, but their specialty lies more in TV work and reality type shows. Like you see, they do. Like for instance, today I auditioned to do the trailer for a new TNT series, and once or twice a day I'm getting TV promo audition opportunities, like the new thing on Stars, the new thing on TNT, the new thing on ABC, that kind of stuff.
That you didn't get before?
Correct. Yes, this is completely. They only specialize in top tier work. They only do A-level stuff.
Got it. And so
it's a whole new level of work.
But are you if you're paying them some kind of an upfront fee monthly, are they then commissioned on work that you get as well?
Yes, like 5%. But there's also terrain. I'm also working. They work with Maurice Tobias in Los Angeles that I mentioned to you before. They have an agreement with her, so I'll be working with her every month, as well as working with those guys on the career direction end of things.
So it was a way to get to work with Maurice and get them to represent or put opportunities in front of you as well.
Yeah, and they contacted me, so that was kind of cool.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. They'd heard my stuff and thought that I could compete in that space, so We'll see what happens. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I get some really good feedback from Maurice Tobias. That's not a bad place to be.
And so, but I mean, is the fee that they're charging you? It's funny because they contacted you, and yet you're paying them a monthly fee.
Right. Yeah, I pay him $750 a month.
Okay. And this is
so
6 month.
Yeah, for the train. What's that?
6 month deal.
Yeah, it's a 6 month deal, and that's not how they make. I mean, that's not their business. Their business. I mean, it's a division of their business. But these guys book work on the major networks, so that's their thing. The two founding members. One of the guys. Are you familiar with William Morse Agency?
Yeah, sure.
He was one of the partners there at William Morse prior to this.
Okay.
And so, I mean, these guys. So this is what they do. I mean, this is their background.
So that's Mark Gus.
Yeah, Mark Gus. That's the guy. Yeah.
And so now you're not yet on their roster here.
I am on their roster for radio imaging right now.
Got it.
But see, these are people who are represented by the agency side of things.
Yep.
So they have an agency side and a talent development side.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, hopefully that's...
So we'll see what happens.
You'll have to keep me posted.
Yeah, I will.
On what's going on here. I know exactly where they are at 2 West 45th Street. Yeah. And, And so what? Well, that's good. So then you're putting out money, hopefully to break into the big time on the voiceover side now.
Yeah, exactly. To more big time. Instead of doing it once in a great while, to hopefully be able to do it on a regular basis. So it's the first major opportunity of this level I've received.
Yeah, that's great. And so they do a lot of. I mean, these are obviously some of their clients: Discovery, Comedy Central, Fox Sports, all these people.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
That's their specialization.
Well, if they need someone, get it ready to rumble. You'll have to recommend me.
I know. Yeah, tell them to call you. Don't call me.
Exactly.
I've already failed on that front.
It's funny.
I know my limitations.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that your style is definitely. I mean, that's where I think this whole thing revolves around. Is what is your style? And,
well, what they were telling me is, there's a trend. The trend continues away from the big voice, and it's more to the regular guy. And so they think I fit in well with where things are going.
Very cool. I'm excited to hear that for you. So now, in keeping with that, Avish, why don't you give us an update? I know you've got a baby on the way and a new house, but what else is new with you?
Not a lot else is really new or exciting. Just kind of plugging away on stuff. Life has been busy on a speaking circuit, but now I have this month. I'm not really traveling at all, so I'm hoping to get a lot of content and a lot of the stuff that's been kind of put on the back burner done.
And I don't know if you had more time to think about your conversation with Bill.
I did. I feel like I'm kind of in the same place I was with that conversation, which is that's probably something I'm going to revisit in a few months after I see how some of this other stuff goes, because that's not going to be a quick hit by any means.
Got it. Yep, I'd agree. And Bill, we have him, Avish, you're scheduled to show up at the event. I guess it's already next month in New York.
Let me just double check that. I think I had that
plane fare too. Holy crap.
Oh, good.
And you can.
You mean my event? Yeah, the voiceover event. When you said that, I thought you meant the JV partner.
No, the voiceover event. And so, Avish, you're going to crash at my place then for a couple nights, right?
Yeah. If I come up, that'd be cool.
Cool, yeah. And my arm is out of the sling, but still not able to do a whole lot of lifting at this point. So I'm still doing this incredibly painful physical therapy that just involves, stretching at this point. So they're not letting me lift a whole lot yet. So I will.
Fred, you'll appreciate this. This morning I recorded a medical narration for a company that creates a product that does the suturing for rotator cuff surgery.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's funny. They do this. So they do this suture. Wow, interesting. Wow,
they create the mechanism that allows the surgeon to actually go in and do the suturing after the fact.
Huh. Well, I wonder if it was used on me.
Yeah, maybe.
And if I can get a discount after the fact.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It's amazing how everything in life is so interconnected.
Yes.
So then,
hey, on an unrelated note to me, if we go back to what we were talking about with Tony and his coaching program, something that popped into my head was a potential market could be virtual assistants and just administrative assistants in general. because I could see, for a virtual assistant, I could see them using these techniques to save their clients money, which would be a value add, and then that would be a marketing point for them. And I could also see someone who has an assistant, virtual or real, maybe they don't want to go through the program, but sending their virtual assistant or their assistant so that when that assistant books the travel, they can get better deals and better travel. I see that being kind of a good marketing angle for that.
And I got another brilliant brainstorm from that, Avish, that set me off, which is, Tony, we can set up a certification called Certified Travel Discounter. And we can certify people in your system so that those virtual assistants can say to their clients, I have my certification in travel discounting. And so, and by the way, I'm about to, I can tell all you guys offline exactly what this is, but I'm looking into a program to get certified on something myself. And some certification programs, the one I'm looking at specifically, if I do it and I pay the $6,000, will make it so I only have to pay an additional $15,000 to get a PhD in this particular field. So I'm looking into that. So this certification thing should not be overlooked, especially for you, Tony, because of all of us that are on the call here. In terms of, it's not relevant to Bill nor to Avish, but it is to you, because I think that if you were to offer a certification, so basically it would be like, I'll teach you how to save your clients and other people, and virtual assistants, I think Avish is right on. That's a perfect market for him. If they could get a certification so that when they go to their clients, they could differentiate themselves by saying, hey, if you use me, when you call me and tell me to book a trip to Pittsburgh, I'm going to save you money, and that's because I have this certification as a Dragon certified travel discounter.
Or even look at it from Travel Scrooge University.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I was thinking. And also you can probably, we were talking about this, even getting a board game together.
Yeah, the board game I think is, that's a little bit more, that's a little bit tougher, and it's a mass market kind of sell. But to sell certifications, people buy certifications a lot and a lot more, because a lot of people are opting for these certification programs because they don't want to spend all the money to go to college because everybody's so in debt. So they're now going for certification, which is a quick way to get specific training in a given area. And Tony, this is something where this certification, I could see it, a price point of $495 very easily. $495 gives them, a certificate. And then if we wanted to, we could have, sort of an associate. We could have a, you could tier your certification. And this is what they do. The place that I'm looking at right now has tiers that go from $29.97 to $59.97 to, not quite that much, to
I'll take that.
to 19,000.
Wow.
And so again, certifications, people are willing to pay for these. And as a travel, I think in the travel area that would be definitely worth considering. So if somewhere on the website we had a big starburst that said, get certified now, that kind of thing. That would be, I think, Avish, that's a perfect group.
Cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And also there's other niche markets you can do that with, and also with licensing as well. I guess you can probably throw that in.
Yeah, I don't know if the licensing might be more difficult. Certification is kind of in a way it's kind of BS, but it really, people are going for it because it's, rather than having to go through, multi-year college degrees, they can get something that's specialized in one field given to them by one expert, you in this case, and setting this up is not really all that difficult, and as long as you really deliver value, your governmental offices will not give you a hard time. The only time they give you a hard time is when the certification is kind of BS and isn't real, where people just set up kind of a scam. But if you can show them, you make them go through this many classes and you record the classes. For example, you can set these all up as webinars, then record the webinars and have 2 tracks. One of them is a strictly online certification, which costs $295, and the more personalized certification with you, which costs $795.
Wow.
That's stuff you can easily do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about another project just to kind of complement this, is to actually do an online course on udemy.com and create my one-day course on there, how to travel above your means without paying for it, and totally make that into a course and do a video with scripts. And Bill will be my guy. I love Bill's voice. Let Bill talk. I hate my voice.
Well, thank you.
So get him on there, and we can start creating courses online and charge, like we're talking about, $99, and that could be another way of kind of replacing myself face to face. But I still like the face to face concept with continuing education. But that's something else I'm also contemplating as well.
Yeah, the face-to-face contact is always going to be helpful. Now, I'll give you guys something that just happened to me that, all of you guys know that poker is one of my obsessions. You'll be happy to know, because Tony was in the store, I think, when I showed him these books in Vegas. My two favorite books right now on poker are written by a guy named Steve Celbriti. So I tracked this guy down. I sent him an email and I said, look, I'm not a nutcase. I'd like to get together with you. And he actually agreed. I got together with him and we're becoming fast friends. And he is now going to replace Trey as the person, because Trey's really, he's got so much time invested as a professional poker player that he doesn't really have time to do all this training stuff. Whereas Steve is, he's in his early 60s. He's his background is in physics and mathematics, went to Stanford, all this kind of stuff. So he's a statistical genius. And so he and I are going to be putting together a poker course that we're going to teach in Vegas based on his books. But the point of this is that if you find someone that you really want to talk to, don't be hesitant to try and contact them. I mean, it worked for me. I mean, I sent the guy an email where I basically said, hey, I know you probably get a lot of emails from people, blah, blah, blah. As it turns out, he doesn't. I said, well, I'm not a flake or a nutcase. I've written a bunch of books and blah, blah, blah. So I told him all that, and he said, oh, well, I told him I was going out because he lives on the other side of town than me, but there's a casino over there. I said, hey, I'm going over to Red Rock tonight. He says, oh, why don't you stop by? I was like, yeah, sure. So I went by, and we became fast friends. We had one discussion that I guess stimulated his thinking on a topic that he prepared an entire white paper on it that he just had sent to me and said, hey, review this. What do you think? And so I think that the point is that oftentimes we hesitate to contact people because we think they're sort of out of our league or whatever. The only thing they can say is no, So
well, it took me years to approach you, Fred.
I know that's what I was thinking too, Tony. It's like Tony wasn't he bought a lot of my stuff and listened to things, but hadn't really come around. So I think that's a really good point to make. And this certification thing, I can't impress upon anybody. And Bill, I was just thinking in your case, Avish, the problem is that in speaking, they have certifications already, given out by an organization, but they don't have. But what we don't have, which would be kind of funny, is you could give people a certification in the tickle my funny bone, kind of thing. So there might be some. It would be kind of funny actually to actually give someone a certificate suitable for framing. That it's the I have a sense of humor badge. I can make people laugh thing or whatever. We can come up with something really funny, and it would be kind of crazy that with any purchase of any product on Be Funny as a speaker, that they also are immediately given a certificate suitable for framing, of course, in funniness. And then what we could actually do is create some kind of like a thermometer kind of scale and put like not funny at the very bottom and extremely funny at the very top, and have different levels of depending on how much they want to pay, that they could buy the thermometer setting. It's so bogus, but it's funny. I just was thinking of things that we could do, Avish, that would make it and people could buy those for other people as well. And maybe they could be automatically generated on the website, so you don't even have to do anything. So they just like go in there and they spend $20, and they can then print it out on their color printer at work and have it framed. I don't know. I'm riffing on this, so I'm not really sure
Yeah.
if it can work. But so, Bill, what with this now? This is your latest and most important thing. The thing that we're trying to do for Bill, and maybe you guys can help brainstorm, is I was trying to find a way to have him work less hours and make more money on his info product side. And the thing that I came up with for him was a 3-tiered coaching program, and just almost forget about products, but let them sell themselves at this point. Because I just think that, I think that there's certain people, and I still think this, Bill, who would pay you like $1,000 a month. And I just...
It's at this point, it's just a question of, is it worth it?
Exactly, yeah, I get you.
But
I like
hear
the
you.
mass market thing, where if we stick it in at this level with $99 a month, and you do 2 90-minute webinars a month, I think we could get a boatload of people to sign up for it. Let's just say we got 100 people. So 100 times 100 is 10 grand. 100 times 100, yeah, that's 10,000, right? And that would be for basically 3 hours work a month. I'll write all the copy for it.
Okay, perfect. How about once a month? For $49.99.
For what?
For $49.99. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Kind of.
I think they'd like the twice, but I mean, for 3 hours, where else you can almost? It's almost like getting paid the same amount to do a find your own roads program, but doing it every 2 months.
Yeah, and we can talk more about this later. It's just I'm trying to stay away from those committing more hours at night. It's because it just makes my life so much more difficult.
Yeah,
because it becomes. Because I'm teaching the class too. Don't forget, every Thursday.
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to think of something, because I know that people would pay you basically $100 a month to answer any questions that they had. But maybe, you know what? Maybe it is good to have it at $49.95 and have it once a month.
Something to think about.
Yeah, I just think that there's in terms of the dollars per hour, I don't think that there's a better way for you to do it than that, because people would be, they'd be like, okay, we would set it up so I would do it with you every webinar, and I would just say, okay, you would take 5 minutes to say, hi, I'm Bill, I'm answering all your questions. Fred, screen the questions and ask them. And we would just do rapid fire.
So you're not even talking about like new content. You're talking about answering questions.
No. Nothing new. Zero. Zero new content. This is strictly questions from voice talent about different things. Anything they wanted to. It's like an Ask Bill for $100 a month. You get to ask Bill questions, and boom, boom, boom. We rapid fire through it like we did in the other webinar.
And so you think, and I mean, forgive me, it's not, I should know better than to ask this question, but you really think people will pay $99 a month to do that?
To do it twice a month?
I underestimate the power of my own expertise.
Avish and Tony, given Bill's knowledge of this industry, do you think voice talent who are getting started and would need questions answered along the way would be willing? I don't know how long they'd sign up for, but I think 2 to 4 to 5 or 6 months, probably pretty much a no-brainer. What do you guys think?
Well, I would think that if somebody who's really serious about being a voiceover development talent will take this seriously and will pay whatever it takes as long as they feel comfortable with who's teaching them, and that's Bill.
Well, there's no doubt that the part of a big part of the value of working with Fred is that Fred you have a true appreciation, I think, of the value, whereas it's hard for those of us who do it to see it objectively.
Yeah, I think that, Bill, I really do think it would be a no-brainer to get 100 people to pay you $100 a month.
Wow. Well, we'll definitely have to pick up this conversation.
And what I'm saying is, no prep time. It would be me moderating it and you answering questions. That's it.
Okay. Because a big part of the pushback for me is on the creating content, because that's just it's mental.
Yeah.
It's not only time, it's just It's like, oh my gosh, now I got to think of, 60 minutes or 90 minutes of content, and it's just it can, there's only so much that I can do. But to answer questions, we'll talk.
Okay. The reason why I'm so thoughtful because I am mental, so it comes from me for a reason. So that's, I mean, yeah, I think that for you, the where you shine is actually, forget about the content development. You're just, I mean, when we did it the other day, the last time we did this, where we answered those questions, but of course, and you guys don't know this, but I got one email from some guy bitching. Did you see that email I forwarded to you?
I did. Yeah.
I'm just,
yeah.
I wanted to write back to the guy and say, are you friggin' kidding me? I mean, I'm just like, I'm incredulous because Bill basically just vomited out answers to more questions that was humanly possible in a certain period of time. And this one person starts bitching saying it wasn't delivering value. I go, dude, how much did you play? It was a free webinar.
Jeez.
Like,
yeah, there's always somebody.
Yeah, so
Always
I mean,
somebody.
by the way, be prepared for that because you'll get that and you should not be, don't let it upset you because it was, I mean, I literally, I read it and I went, really? Are you really bitching at a free event? And by the way, did that guy spend any money at all on any products?
I haven't looked it up yet. I've got to do that. I want to
If you
see.
do, let me know because my guess is no. It's always these people who've gotten everything for free that are the ones that are bitching about stuff. I'm almost certain. So anyway, I think so. Now, anything, Avish? Let's just quickly go down before we get off here on any plans for anything you need my help on to move things forward between now and next week or next month.
No, I think I'm good for the next week at least.
Okay, Bill, you and I will talk about this idea, and Tony, you and I can talk about whatever you want. Just email me.
Okay, so we'll set up a time.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'll email you sometime during the week.